Hello everyone. Welcome to HM Commerce Education, and this is CA Mani Chandana. So with all the energy, let's start off today's class. We are studying Chapter 1, Indian Regulatory Framework, isn't it? So let's continue with the same. But before continuing with today's class, let's just revise whatever we have studied in the previous class. Okay, that was yesterday, right? Okay, so we started from sources of law, isn't it? We started from sources of law. What did we learn? Sources of law in India are constitution, the statutes or laws which are passed by the parliament and the state assemblies, also the precedents or the case laws of various courts, and in some cases, customs and usages. Yes. Next, also you also know that parliament is the ultimate lawmaking body. We also learned about the constitution. Yes, Constitution of India 1950. It is the foremost law. It is the supreme law of India. Also, it protects the fundamental rights and duties of the citizens. Also, it gives the powers and duties of the central government and the state government. Yes, and we also studied about the federal court. Okay, before that we studied about the Government of India Act 1935, which gave the foundation for the federal system of government. Now, what is federal system of government? Federal system of government is a form of government wherein the powers are distributed between the central as well as the state governments. Yes. Next, we also studied about the federal court. Federal court was established and it had the jurisdiction of all the it had the jurisdiction of original, appellate and advisory. Okay, yeah. Appellate jurisdiction extended to civil and criminal cases, whereas advisory jurisdiction extended to advise the Governor General in respect to the public matters, in the matters of public opinion. Okay, so this federal court was supplanted by India's current Supreme Court of India. Yes, I think I'm clear. Okay, next we also studied about the three lists, that is the central list, state list and the joint list. Example of central list was income tax, and the concurrent list or the joint list was levy of stamp duty. Yes, we also saw the process of making law. Everyone remember? Important. Everyone remember? What did we study? We studied the process of making law. Initially, there is a bill, which is a draft act, which is presented in the parliament by the head of the concerned ministry, and after all the discussion, it is passed in the Lok Sabha, later it is passed in the Rajya Sabha, and finally the assent of the President of India is given, and it is notified in the official Gazette of India, and from now it is called the Act of the Parliament. From the date it is whichever is mentioned in the official Gazette of India, it will become effective. The act will become effective. Okay, next we also saw the types of law in the Indian legal system. What are the four types of laws? Criminal law, civil law, common law and the principles of natural justice. Criminal law. Criminal law relates to violations of rule of law or public wrongs and the punishment with respect to the same. Okay, which were the two codes we saw? Indian Penal Code and the Code of Criminal Procedure. Indian Penal Code deals with what? Deals with three: crime, nature and its punishments, whereas the Code of Criminal Procedure deals with the exhaustive procedure for executing the punishments for such crimes. Example: murder, rape, theft, fraud, cheating and assault. Yes. These are few of the examples. Next, civil law. Civil law matters with respect to dispute between the individuals or organizations. These are dealt as under civil law, and basically we can file a civil suit for such cases. And what is the civil law primarily focus on dispute resolution rather than punishment. Yes. Okay, next we also studied about common law. Common law is nothing but judicial precedents or the case laws. So the judgment delivered by Supreme Court will be binding upon the entire territory of India. Correct. We also learnt about the doctrine of stare decisis. Stare decisis meaning to stand by that which is decided. Correct. When the facts are similar or on all four legs. Simple, very simple, right? If you revise on a daily basis, it will become even more simpler. Okay, next, principles of natural justice. There are three. The first one being nemo judex in causa sua, wherein it is a rule against prejudice or rule against bias, wherein the decision maker should not have prejudice to any one of the parties. Next, audi alterum partem, meaning the right of opportunity of being heard. Next, reasoned decision. What is this reasoned decision? The decision maker should give a good reason for his decision, and which should be supported by law. Yes, clear? We all had discussed till here yesterday, and today we are going to start off with the next topic, enforcing the law. Enforcing the law, page number 7. Okay, everyone. Okay, before this, I just want you to understand a bit. Okay, I think this is okay. See, as you can see on the screen, there is one picture of human body, organs in a human body. Just see. Everyone, you all are able to see this? Yes, see, when in a human body, yes, in a human body we have many organs, many vital organs like brain, heart, liver, kidney, yes, all of these. Only when all of these organs are functioning properly, only if these organs in the vital organs in the body are functioning properly, the body, I mean, we are alive, yes or no? So just imagine if heart stops functioning or kidney stops functioning, obviously you cannot stay alive. Similarly, in the same manner, how the organs are important for us, in the similar manner, there are organs of the central government. There are organs of the central government which are the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Which are the organs of the central government? The legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Ma'am, what are these? Legislature, executive and judiciary. See, the legislature is called the law-making body. It is nothing but the law-making body. We saw how the acts are passed in India. Yes, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha form the legislature in India. Yes, next comes the executive. Next comes the executive, which executes the law. The first one, framing the law, law-making body. Here the laws are framed. Which comes under legislature, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Next comes the executive, wherein it executes the law. The name itself, executive, it executes the laws. Here, who comes under the executive? See, president, vice president, prime minister, MPs meaning member of parliaments, and the civil servants. All of these come under the executive body. Listen again, I'm repeating this again. The executive, what does it do? It executes the laws which are formed by the legislature. Yes. Now, who comes under the executive? The president, vice presidents. Yes. The prime minister, the MPs and the civil servants. Getting my point? Yes. Come to the next organ, that is the judiciary. What does this judiciary do? It explains, it interprets and also punishes the violators of law. Simple. First, law-making body. Then the executive, it executes the law. Then the judiciary, what does it do? It explains, it interprets and punishes the violators of law. So simple. Okay, under judiciary, we have the Supreme Courts, we have the high courts and the rest other courts. Simple, very simple. So just try to understand, only if all of these organs of the central government are performing properly or are performing their duties promptly, only then our country will run in a smooth manner. Getting it? Clear? Simple, very simple. Okay, now let's come to your book, page number 7. Okay, we're talking about enforcing the law. We're talking about enforcing the law. Yes. Okay. Fine. See, after a law is passed in the parliament, it has to be enforced. Yes or no? Say Companies Act 2013. It has been passed. It is now an act. Tell me, it has to be enforced or not? It has to be enforced or not? Yes. So somebody should monitor whether the law is being followed. So this is the job of the executive. So this is the job of the executive. That is what we learned here. Yes. The executive, what does it do? It executes the laws which are passed by the government. Yes or no? Yeah. So this is the job of the executive. This is the job of the executive. Next, depending on whether a law is a central law or a state law, the central or the state government will be the enforcing authority. Simple. If it is a central law, then the central government will enforce the law, and if it is a state law, then obviously the state government will enforce the law. For this purpose, government functions are distributed to various ministries. Some of the popular ministries are, okay, before reading whatever is there in your textbook, let me try to explain you something. See, our country is so vast and it is so big and it has so many areas to take care of, to be taken care of. Yes or no? Say one single person, say Shri Narendra Modi ji, who is our current Prime Minister, he alone cannot run the entire country. He alone, single-handedly, he cannot run the entire country. He needs the support. He needs the support of the ministers, his cabinet ministers, who always work for him. The cabinet ministers, the Prime Minister, then comes the cabinet ministers. So these cabinet ministers, the help of these cabinet ministers and the civil servants meaning the IAS officers, yes or no? So all of these, the civil servants, they help in functioning of the government. They help in functioning of the government. Let me show you. Let me show you the ministries and the ministers. Okay. Let me show you the ministries and the ministers. There are many areas wherein we have ministries. Yes. See, as you all know Ministry of Finance. Yes or no? Ministry of, one second. Okay. See, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, headed by Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. These are the ministries which you are greater concerned with. Yes, which you are much concerned with. Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Corporate Affairs, because you day in and day out you deal with finance and corporate, obviously in finance field and with respect to the corporate field. Yes, so whatever happens, whatever changes or whatever the changes in laws or new laws being introduced, you have to be aware of as a chartered accountant. Yes or no? Similarly, there are various fields where, see, for example, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Chemicals, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Defense. See, under Modi, Shri Narendra Modi also, there are certain departments of atomic energy, Department of Space, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions. See, there are so many departments. There are so many. Ministry of Education, Ministry of Steel, Heavy Industries, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Just does not stop here. See, Ministry of Textiles, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Ministry of Communication, Culture, Women and Child Development. How many? Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Labor and Employment. See, there are so many areas in which we have to concentrate. The government has to concentrate. Even in one field, if there is some problem, obviously it is a problem for the country. So all of these ministers help to run the government, and these ministers, the cabinet ministers, come under Shri Narendra Modi ji, and also we have the IAS officers who help in what? Executing the laws. Right? Now let's read whatever is there in your book. Okay. For this purpose, see, okay, we'll read the entire paragraph again. Depending on whether a law is a central law or a state law, the central or the state government will be the enforcing authority. Till here it's clear. Now, for this purpose, government functions are distributed to various ministries. For what purpose? For enforcing the law. Okay. Yes, some of the popular ministries are, so you all saw the different ministries. Now let's just read one by one. Okay. are popular ministries that are talking about: Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice, and so on. So all these four you have just in they've just, it's there in your in your syllabus. Let's do them in detail. Now we're just reading it. Okay, so these ministries are headed by a minister and run by officers of the Indian administrative and other services. Nothing but civil servants, Indian civil servants. These are headed by ministers and run by the officers of Indian administrative services and other services. Okay, see now, come here. See, we what did we see now? Ministry of Finance, yes. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, yes. Then Ministry of Home Affairs, then Ministry of Law. Where is this Ministry of Law? Okay, anyways, Ministry of Law and Justice, I am not able to find it here. Anyways, Ministry of Law and Justice. Okay, fine. These ministries are headed by a minister and run by officers of the Indian Administrative Service and other services. Okay, next, the Government of India exercises its executive authority through a number of government ministries or departments of the state. See, these ministries have a number of departments under each. See, say for example, under I'll just show you here. Say for example, Ministry of Finance. See the departments under the Ministry of Finance. There are so many departments under Ministry of Finance: Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Expenditure, Department of Revenue, Department of Financial Services, etc., etc. These come under Ministry of Finance. Similarly, there are many departments. There are many departments under the ministries. That is what they're trying to tell you. Okay, next. A ministry is composed of employed officials known as civil servants and is politically accountable through a ministers. So as I told you, the ministry has a head which is called a minister, and they are below them are these civil servants, also known as the IAS officers, who help not only IAS, IRS, and there are many such cadres which wherein these people help, these civil servants help the ministers to take prompt decisions, and in turn they run and in turn the government runs the countries. Getting my point? Yes. Next, most major ministries are headed by a cabinet ministers who sits in the Union Council of Ministers and is typically supported by a team of junior ministers called the ministers of the state. Similarly, even in state also we have ministries. You all are aware. Yes or no? Even in state also we also have ministries for different areas. Okay. Now, for example, the Income Tax Act is implemented and enforced. What are we talking? We are talking about implementation. Yes or no? Implementation of law. That is the job of the executive. So, for example, the income tax is implemented and enforced by the Ministry of Finance. By whom? By which ministry? By the Ministry of Finance through CBDT. You will know what is this CBDT. It is a board for direct taxes. Okay, coming under what? Coming under which department? Coming under Department of Revenue. I'll show you. See, Department of Revenue. CBDT comes under Department of Revenue. So while executing Income Tax Act, who will execute the Income Tax Act? CBDT. Which ministry? Ministry of Finance. Which department? Department of Revenue. Yes, getting it? Okay, now, and is administered by officers of the Indian Revenue Service, IRS. Okay, we will see some of the major ministries and the laws which are enforced by them. So, clear? This particular paragraph is clear? Yes, no, yes or no? Right. Okay, let's move ahead to the next topic. That is Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance. Okay. Okay. Fine. Ministry of Finance or Finance is a ministry within the central government of India and is concerned with the economy of India, serving as the treasury of India. See, this Ministry of Finance is very, very, very crucial with respect to the economical health of the country. Yes, it deals with, let's start, I'll just show you with what all departments it deals and how important this particular ministry is for our country, for any country, be it any country. Ministry of Finance is one of the most important ministries you can come across. Okay, now see, departments of Ministry of Finance has so many departments. Ministry of Finance has so many departments. Let's read one by one. Okay, the first one being Department of Economic Affairs. Department of Economic Affairs. Ma'am, what does this department deal with? Or basically, if I have to call it another way, what are the functions of the Department of Economic Affairs? See, children, this Department of Economic Affairs deals with economic policies, fiscal policies. Yes, with relating to the say for example inflation. Yes, how to deal with the inflation. Inflation should not increase. Yes, so it has to formulate certain economic policies, and it has to formulate certain decisions. It has to make certain decisions to maintain the economical balance in the country. Yes, next, budgeting. Yes, we every year we have this budget on union budget on 1st of February, right? On 1st of February. Which department takes care of all of this? Ministry of Finance. Yes, next, Department of Expenditure. Department of Expenditure, to oversee the expenditure management in central ministries or department. What does this department do is that it takes care, it oversees the expenditure and it manages the expenditure of all the central ministers or the departments. Also, it also takes care about the state finances, how much of amount is to be allocated to each state and how they are spending, whatever the amount which has been given to each state, whether it is being utilized correctly or not. Basically, Department of Expenditure. Next comes Department of Revenues. Department of Revenue. See, tax collection. Tax collection. How do they collect taxes? You saw CBDT. CBDT is Central Board of Direct Taxes. CBIC being Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. So these are the departments which collect taxes, which administer the taxation. Also, public awareness about tax. Public awareness about tax, how why each individual has to pay tax to the government, why should he do so. So all of this awareness is being created by this particular department. Also, budget preparations. Yes, okay. Next, Department of Financial Services. Department of Financial Services executes various initiatives and reforms of government relating to banking, insurance. Yes, see, banking sectors, insurance sectors, all of these come under Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance under the Department of Financial Services. Yes, all of these banking, these all should be regulated. These are the core sectors of the country. Yes or no? Now, next comes the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. It deals with matters relating to management of central government investments in equity and disinvestment of equity in public sector undertakings. Children, if you all know, there are these public sector undertakings wherein the government, the central government holds stake. See, majority of the shareholding is held by the government. These are called the public sector undertaking. Say for example, you can consider Steel Authority of India, Coal India, Indian Oil Corporation, ONGC. So these are all These are all public sector undertakings, and these also have to be managed. Yes, the decisions with relating to investment in public sector, investment in companies, and also disinvestment in the public sector undertakings for privatization. Ma'am, what is privatization? See for example, Air India. What happened in Air India is the government disinvested in Air India and it sold to sold to a private company. Yes, this is called disinvestment of equity in public sector undertaking. See, this is just I am trying to this is not there in your syllabus. All of this is not there in your syllabus. That is the reason I am very fast. Even though if you don't understand, it's okay. It's okay, children. It's just you only have these departments. You only have these departments. I'm just trying to tell you the functions of each and every department so that you can understand a little more. And if you do not understand these, whatever I'm talking, no, these functions, it is okay. It is okay. Nothing to worry. Okay. Then listing of PSUs on stock exchange. Stock exchange, you will not be knowing as of now. You will learn. You will learn in your later classes. Today only we'll be talking about SEBI. Okay, and you will learn in your Companies Act when we study about limited companies. Okay, stock exchange is nothing but it's a platform wherein you all the companies are listed. You know, there's share markets. You all must be aware. Yes, so listing of these public sector undertakings on stock exchange, which department takes care is Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Similarly, Department of Public Enterprises for training, giving training to employees of PSUs. So there are these companies, say for example Coal India, and this department of Public Enterprises is involved in giving training to employees of public sector undertakings, also giving policies and guidance for management and financing of these public sector undertakings, and also performance evaluation of such companies. Yes, there is nothing to worry. Even if you have not understood these functions, it is okay, well and good. If you have understood, nothing like it. If you have not understood, nothing to worry. You just have to know these departments. So departments under Ministry of Finance. Let me come to your book. You will understand. You will get to know what I am talking about. See, you only have various departments given in your textbooks. You don't have their functions. Just to make you understand, I have given you a little insight of all these functions of the departments. Okay, see, now let's see. Departments of Ministry of Finance: Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Expenditure, Department of Revenue, Department of Financial Services, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, Department of Public Enterprises. Let's go back and just see the functions of each and every department once more. Department of Economic Affairs, what does it do? It formulates and monitors the economic policies. Simple, very easy. Next, Department of Expenditure. What does it do? Department of Expenditure. It will oversee the expenditure. Yes, expenditure management for various cabinet ministries. Okay. Next, Department of Revenue. What does it do? It collects taxes. It sees how the taxes are being collected. How does the ministry collect taxes? Through CBDT and CBIC. Direct taxes, CBDT. Indirect taxes, CBIC. Yes, then tax administration and public awareness about taxation, and also budget preparations. Next comes Department of Financial Services. It relating to financial service, meaning what? Financial services meaning with respect to revenue. What is that? Banking, insurance, etc. Yes, financial services, NBFCs, banking, insurance, all of these comes under Department of Financial Services. Next, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. When it comes to PSUs, how much of investment has to be made in the companies, and how much of disinvestment is needed, and to privatize. Obviously, when you sell the shares, sell the shares of a public sector undertaking to a private entity, that is nothing but privatization. Yes. Next, listing of PSUs on stock exchanges. All of this, which department will take care? The Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Yes, children. Next, Department of Public Enterprises. It is involved in giving training to the employees of the PSUs, and also monitoring the performance evaluation of the PSUs, and also giving policies and guidance for the management of the PSUs. Simple, very simple. Okay, fine. So now if we go back and read the paragraph, whatever they have given, it will be more easier for you to understand. See, now they are talking about the Ministry of Finance. See, we'll read it again. The Vitta Mantralaya, it is also called Vitta Mantralaya, is a ministry within the Government of India concerned with what? Concerned with economy of India. It serves as the treasury of India. Treasury meaning what? Treasury meaning money. Yes, it is a collection of wealth, collection of wealth. Yes, in particular, it concerns itself with what? Concerns itself with taxation, direct and indirect. Yes, financial legislation, financial institution, banking and NBFCs, capital markets. What are these capital markets? Share market, bond market. Yes or no? Next, center and state finances. Obviously, it has to oversee the expenditure of center and state. Yes or no? Did you understand? Now you will be able to relate. Why? Now you are able to understand why I made you study all those functions of various departments. Yes or no? Yes, ma'am. And the union budget. Union budget is usually given by the finance minister on February 1st of every year. Okay. Now, see, as a chartered accountant, many of your day-to-day work life will be impacted by this ministry and its proclamations. Why? Obviously, you're a chartered accountant. Everything related to finance, Ministry of Finance, obviously has an impact on your professional life. Yes or no? Yes, ma'am. This ministry is so important that many ministers have preferred to hold the portfolio of finance minister also. Why? Relating to money. Yes. Next, one of the important functions of the finance ministry is the presentation of the union budget. It is the presentation of the union budget. You might have seen Mr. Nirmala Sitharaman. Sorry, not sorry. I'm so sorry for that. Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman giving the budget, union budget on February 1st. You should have known. Yeah, there is nothing to talk much about the union budget now. Yes. This annual event is eagerly awaited by professionals and common man as it provides for the rates of taxes and budget allocations for the coming year. Okay, clear? Ministry of Finance. Okay, there is one more, just a small paragraph which we will read and complete. Okay, who presented the maximum number of union budgets as finance minister? Just for your knowledge, they're trying to tell you, Sri Morarji Desai, during his stint as finance minister between 1962 and 1969, has presented how many? Has presented 10 union budgets, making it the highest. Then next on the list is Sri P. Chidambaram at 9, followed by Sri Pranab Mukherjee at 8, and Sri Yashwant Sinha and Dr. Manmohan Singh with 8 and 6 budgets respectively. Yes, just for your information. Okay, next, Constitution of the Ministry of Finance. See here, the Ministry of Finance is the top controlling authority for four civil services. What are those four civil services? Indian Revenue Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Economic Service, and then Indian Civil Account Service. So if you're interested to join the Ministry of Finance, say for example as a civil servant, then you will have to give any of these examinations. Also, Indian Cost and Management Account Service, it is one of the central commerce services, and for that also the Ministry of Finance is the head. It is the top controlling authority. Again, Ministry of Finance is the top controlling authority. It is the apex controlling authority for four central civil services, being the Indian Revenue Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Economic Service, and Indian Civil Account Service. And it is also the apex controlling authority of one of the central commerce services, namely Indian Cost and Management Accounts Service. Yes, clear? So we are done with the Ministry of Finance. We are done with the Ministry of Finance. I hope I am clear. Okay, we have understood. Can we move forward? Okay, let's move forward. Okay, the next ministry is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The next ministry is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. See children, this ministry was a department before. You know what is a department? Yes, department comes under a ministry. So this was a department earlier, and later it was converted into a ministry itself. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's read. Okay. Ministry of Corporate Affairs is an Indian government ministry. You all know. Yes, it is headed by Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, as the name suggests. what does it deal with? It deals with the administration of what? Companies Act 2013, Companies Act 1956, Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008, and the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which is also known as IBC. I'll just give you a gist of this IBC. When we study IBBI, there is something called IBBI when today only. So when we are studying that, I will give you just just little information about Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code as well. Okay. So it is basically concerned with the Administration of Companies Act 2013, 1956, LLP, and IBC 2016. Okay, next, responsible mainly for the regulation of Indian enterprises in the industrial and services sector. Okay, next, it is mostly run by civil servants of the ICLS cadre, meaning what is this ICLS? What does ICLS stand for? Indian Corporate Law Service. Indian Corporate Law Service, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Revenue Service, similarly Indian Corporate Law Service. Okay, these the students, whoever write this ICLS examination and who clear, they are the people who run this particular ministry. Yes, these are the civil servants of ICLS cadre. Okay, next, these officers are elected through civil services examination. That is what I am trying to tell you all, conducted by the Union Public Service Commission. Next, the highest post which is called the Director General of Corporate Affairs is fixed at the apex scale, meaning again the top scale for the ICLS. Clear? Very easy. So we finished with what? Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Both are headed by Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay. Next comes the most important ministry, that is the Ministry of Home Affairs. That is the Ministry of Home Affairs, also known as Griha Mantralaya. See, again, I'll first see there are many departments again under this Ministry of Home Affairs. Again, we have Department of Border Management, we have Department of Internal Security, we have Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs, we have Department of Home, we have Department of Official Language, we also have Department of States. See children, I just want you to again see, I can just read whatever is there in the book and I just can leave you. Yes or no, I can just read out whatever what are the departments under the Ministry of Home Affairs and I just can leave you. But it is not like that. You have to at least know just the basic knowledge of what that department does, the functions of the various departments, so that it is easier for you to at least retain what you study. You just can't by heart all of these, right? You have to at least understand. You have to try to retain whatever you have understood and whatever you are trying to study. That is the only intention behind me giving you the functions of each department. It is easier for you to understand. Yes, that's the only reason. Okay, come now. It's not there in your book. Okay, it's not there in your book. So yeah, so we were talking about departments of Ministry of Home Affairs. Yes or no? Okay, see, let's just read. Okay, Department of Border Management. The name itself suggests border management. What does it deal? It deals with creation of infrastructure to strengthen borders and patrolling in all borders. Obviously, it takes care about the security in the borders. See, securing the country's borders against the enemy countries. Simple, very easy. See, now it's easier for you to understand what is this department, what are these departments. It's just given it to you in your book. If you just read, you can't understand and you cannot retain. Yes or no? So once if you understand what that particular department does, it is very easy for you to retain. That's the only intention. Okay. Next, come to Department of Internal Security. Department of Internal Security. See, it deals with matters relating to internal security, law and order, arms and explosives, upholding the national law and defending against internal security threats. There are many, there might be many internal security threats for our country. So all of this have to be combated by the Government. Which department takes care of what of all of these? Department of Internal Security, relating to arms, relating to explosive, relating to law and order being maintained in the country. It is very crucial, isn't it? It is very, very, very crucial. So which department of Home Affairs takes care of all of these? Department of Internal Security. Next comes the Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs. Oh my God. Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs. So what does this department do? It coordinates with various ministries or departments primarily concerned with the development of this Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. And it has many more functions. See, again, there are many more functions. This is just a illustrative list. It is just one or two I have picked up so that it is easier for you to understand. Now, obviously, I cannot give you all the functions, isn't it? This is not the only function of the department. Are you clear? This is not the only function. There are many functions, but these are few functions which I have tried to explain. Yes. Next, Department of Home. Department of Home, again, internal security, law and order, administration, providing criminal justice and external threats. Internal security threats, external security threats. Yes, Department Home deals with external threats, internal security, law and order, administration, etc., etc. Next, Department of Official Language. So basically what does this department do is, there are certain provisions in the constitution, in our constitution, relating to the official languages. So there are certain provisions in our constitution relating to official languages, and there is an act called Official Languages Act. There is an act called Official Languages Act. So this Department of Official Language tries to implement, it is responsible for the implementation of the provisions of the constitution as well as the provisions of the act. Getting it? Simple, very simple. Okay, next. Last comes the Department of States. Department of States. It deals with the central state relations. It deals with what? Center-state relations, interstate relations and administration of the union territory. Department of States deals with what? It deals with the central and state relations, also the interstate center-state relations, interstate relations, also the administration of the union territory. I've also told you these are not the only functions, these are few functions. Okay, now let's come back to your book. Okay, let's just read it again. Department of Ministry of Home Affairs, Department of Border Management, Department of Internal Security, Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs, Department of Home, Department of Official Language, Department of States, Department of Border Management, strengthening borders, Department of Internal Security, obviously trying to what deals with internal security, law and order and internal security threats. Next, Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs, obviously for the development of these particular areas. Department of Home, again internal security, law and order, external security threats, external threats. Next, Department of Official Language, obviously deals with, it is responsible for what? Implementation of the provisions of the constitution relating to the official languages and also the provisions, implementation of the provisions of the Official Languages Act. Also, Department of States deals with the central relations between the center and state, interstate relations and the administration of the union territory. Now come back to your book. Now just read. Departments of Ministry of Home Affairs, Department of Border Management. Now you all know. Now you know. Yes, Department of Border Management, Department of Internal Security, Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs, Department of Home, Department of Official Language, Department of States. Simple. Just close your eyes and recollect today only. Just after you finish seeing this lecture, I want you all to read whatever we have studied. Read whatever we have studied in class today and try to give an explanation. Try explaining it to yourself. See, children, every time be a teacher to yourself. Teach yourself. That is the best method to learn. That is the best method to learn. See, for example, if you have a board or just get a whiteboard or something and just put it in your room, one corner of a room, and then try to imagine there are students in front of you and try that you are explaining them, or at least have a mirror in front of you and try to speak in front of the mirror. Try to explain these concepts in front of the mirror to yourself. So that is the best way to learn theory subjects. That is the best way according to me. So whenever you're trying to explain whatever is there in the book, that is the best method to learn theory. And after that, once you explanation is done, you're very clear with the topic. Now sit in one place and try to recollect what you have explained. Try to recollect what you have explained. See the book. See the book. Underline whatever you have explained to yourself, seeing the mirror or whatever it is. Now sit, underline whatever you have explained, or highlight whatever you have explained. Now, after this, try closing your eyes. Try closing your eyes, and now try to recollect with your books closed. Obviously, eyes closed, books closed. Try to recollect. Obviously, you will not recollect entire thing. 60%, very good. 40%, good. 30%, okay. 100%, ma'am, nothing like it. Yes or no? So what I'm trying to tell you is, the first time you will try to recollect 40% of it. The next time you do the same thing, you try to recollect 60 to 70% of it. The third time you do, you will be able to recollect 90 to 95% of it. So this is how you have to master your theory learning. Obviously, many of the students face really, they're very good at practical subjects, but they face a lot of difficulty with theory subjects. See students, what I try to tell you is, no subject is easy, be it practical or theory. You have to give in efforts. You have to put in efforts. So with respect to theory, what kind of effort you need to put is, you need to concentrate on the key terms in each and every paragraph. And you also have to make this exercise, give exercise to your brain. You just can't let your brain be free. You have to keep giving some or the other exercise to your brain when you are trying to read anything, be it practical or theory. So when you become lazy, when you just read, underline in your book, close it, and think that you have finished the chapter, no, you haven't. If you're just reading, underlining, and trying to understand whatever is there, that is just the first step. That is just the first step, and you will not gain anything from this step or from this exercise. What I'm trying to tell you is, once you start learning, reading, and then underlining, I want you to explain that particular topic to yourself. After that, you have to again sit and read if required. Yes, that required, you sit again. After explanation, you sit, because now the concept is more clear. Now the concept is more clear in your head. Now it is very easy. The whatever the paragraphs, whatever you're studying, or the topic whichever is studying, looks familiar and comparatively easier when compared to your first reading. Yes, after this, I want you to close your books, close your eyes, and give an exercise to your brain. Give an exercise to your brain and ask the brain to recollect whatever you have studied. Yes, this is the best method to read and recollect theory subjects. Yes, according to me, at least. Okay. So everyone, I hope you will do this. Yes, just by heart does not work, children. Just by hearting will not work. It's always important for you to understand what you're studying. It's always important to understand what you're trying to study. Yes, okay. Now, not wasting, it's not wasting your time anyways. Giving you more information about how to study. Okay, keeping that aside, now let's continue with your syllabus. Okay, yeah. Ministry of Home Affairs, that is Griha Mantralaya. It is the Ministry of Government of India. Yes, it is an interior Ministry of India. It is mainly responsible for what? Now you will understand. See, it is mainly responsible for maintenance of internal security and domestic policy. Next, the Home Ministry is headed by Union Minister of Home Affairs. Who is the Union Minister of Home Affairs now? Shri Amit Shah. Shri Amit Shah. Okay, clear? So we're done with the. Okay, there's one more. See, we're talking about they're talking about Department of Official Language. See, under Department of Official Language, there are again three things. These are Central Translation Bureau, Directorate of Census Operations, and Hindi Training Institute. Basically, the Central Translation Bureau is entrusted with some translation work, not that important again. And the Central Hindi Training Institute is relating to providing training in Hindi, giving more prominence to this particular language. and also Directorate of Census Operations, which is basically your census. Okay, so they've given you only for this particular department. Okay, what are the three things? Central Translation Bureau and the Hindi what is that? Hindi Training. So sorry, Central Hindi Training Institute and the Directorate of Census Operations. Yes, clear. So we have completed what? We have completed Ministry of Home Affairs. We've completed Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, fine. Now let's jump to Ministry of Law and Justice. Our next topic, Ministry of Law and Justice. Okay. Okay. Come to page number 13, dear children. Come to page number 13. Okay. Departments of Ministry of Law and Justice. We are talking about the ministries. Sorry, we're talking about the departments of the Ministry of Law and Justice. There are three departments. Department of Legal Affairs, Legislative Department and Department of Justice. Departments of Ministry of Law and Justice has three departments. Departments of Legal Affairs, Legislative Department and Department of Justice. Dear children, what does Department of Legal Affairs do? See. Department of Legal Affairs do. See, Ministry of Law and Justice deals with all its legislative activities. All of its legislative activities through the Department of Legal Affairs. The Ministry of Law and Justice deals with all of its legislative activities with the help of the Department of Legal Affairs. Also, the Department of Legal Affairs advises the ministries. It advises the ministries on legal matters. So, if there is any doubt or if the ministries require any advice on legal matters, which is the department which deals with it, it is the Department of Legal Affairs under the Ministry of Law and Justice. Next comes the Legislative Department. Next comes the Legislative Department. This is one of the important departments of the Ministry of Law and Justice. See, what does it do is, the Ministry of Law and Justice again deals with management of legal affairs through the Legislative Department. Management of legal affairs is done by the Legislative Department. Next, what is the other function of the Legislative Department? It is concerned with drafting. It is concerned with drafting of the principal legislation for central government. So whenever an act has to be drafted, whenever a particular act has to be drafted, that particular assignment is done by the Legislative Department. Getting it? Yes, clear. Next, Department of Justice. So the Ministry of Law and Justice again deals with administration of justice through Department of Justice. So if the administration of justice is done by the Ministry of Law and Justice with the help of this department. Which department is this? Department of Justice. Clear? See, again, Ministry of Law and Justice has three departments, Department of Legal Affairs, then Legislative Department and Department of Justice. Department of Legal Affairs, what does it do? It takes care of the legislative activities. Also, it advises the ministries on legal matters. Now, Legislative Department, what does it do? It manages the legal affairs of the country. Also, it is concerned with drafting of principal legislation for the central government, whereas Department of Justice helps in administration of justice in the country. So all of these departments will work. All of these departments will work, and all of these departments are obviously under a particular ministry. Here it is Ministry of Law and Justice. Getting it? Right? Now let's read whatever is there in the book. Right, Ministry of Law and Justice. It is the Government of India. In the Government of India is a cabinet ministry. It deals with what? Management of legal affairs through Legislative Department. It deals with what? Deals with? Wait. What deals with? Management of legal affairs, management of legislative activities or administration of justice. What deals with? Ministry of Law and Justice. Ministry of Law and Justice deals with management of legal affairs through its legislative department wing. Yes, Ministry of Law and Justice deals with legislative activities through its Department of Legal Affairs wing. Yes, next, Ministry of Law and Affairs deals with administration of justice in India through the Department of Justice. See here in this particular ministry, in your book only they have given the function also. They've also given the function, whereas for the other ministries they haven't, but that which I have made you learn. Okay, now see again, the Department of Legal Affairs. The Department of Legal Affairs is concerned with advising the various ministries of the central government. That is what we learned here. See, Department of Legal Affairs, two things. One is dealing with legislative activities, also advising the ministries on legal matters. Now, while the legislative department is concerned with drafting of principal legislation for the central government, which is that department, legislative department. Come now, see, legislative department is concerned with management of legal affairs and concerned with drafting of principal legislation for central government. Clear? See children, here I just want you to, there is a mistake in my book. There is an error. See, this particular line is missed out in my book. I want you to write it down. Okay, I want you to write it down. I'll just dictate if you're not understanding my handwriting. See, while the legislative department is concerned, it is concerned with drafting of principal legislation, for the central government, okay, clear? Yes, just I'll give you a little time. Just take a photo of this, or you can just click a screenshot or just take a photo of this so that you can write it down in your book as well. Done? Okay, fine. Can we move ahead? So we finished with Ministry of Finance. We finished with Ministry of Finance. We finished with Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Yes, we also finished Ministry of Home Affairs as well as Ministry of Law and Justice. Clear, everyone? Yes. Yes. So what are the topics we are left with? We are left with SEBI. We have RBI. We also have IBBI, that is IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. And we also have the last topic, that is the structure of the Indian judicial system. Okay. So, yeah, I'll stop here. I'll stop with the ministries, and we'll just continue in the next video. Okay. Just a 5-minute break, and I'll end the class here and I'll start afresh in a separate video. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, dear students.